Hey everyone, welcome to Stand-Up Analysis. We're going to be watching some of my stand-up today, analyzing what went well, what maybe didn't go well, and why we did what we did. So for context, this is a show at Crossbar. It's a bar on the Upper West Side. Colby, who is one of our Laughter Party comedians, runs shows here. And this is a show from that night, so we will check it out. We didn't have the visual source, is someone recording from their phone in the front row, so I'm going to guess that some of my moves might get lost, but we'll see. So let's, without further ado, check it out.
Give it up for this next comic. He's the fucking man. He runs Laughter Party. If you're looking to see more stand-up, he's also an amazing improviser. He performs on Batu, on the Lower East Side. He's a fucking killer. Give it up for William Keane, everybody!
Okay, crowd's good. You hear me off stage being like, wow, wow, trying to fuel that applause.
Yeah, I'm a killer. You heard it right here. Stand back, bro, on. Oh, how we doing?
So again, killer was an interesting thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's jump off that. I do think I came in a little too frenetic. I'm like, shut up. So I probably could have let that applause ride more.
We're doing well, yeah? So I'm thinking, lady, I'm gonna get a feel for the audience.
So I'm trying to be like, okay, hey, I'm talking to you guys. I come in with a lot of momentum, which I like, but I do come in with a lot of like, hey, look at me, listen to me. This is not about you talking.
Round of applause if you stay up past midnight. Gonna do 3 more hours of material.
Right. So I ask them something. I respond to it to make sure they know that their inputs will affect my output so that they know they are talking. And then I sort of try to low-key be like, yeah, I'm a real person. I just did something big, but okay. I can be real with you. So I'm trying to go up, but also maintain a sort of like, I am not a character at the same time.
Round of applause past 2 a.m. Yeah. Good morning to you. So.
See, good morning. Is that the most clever joke? No, it is not. But it is something. It's just some reaction to this tension I put in the room of like, 2 a.m., okay, well, what do we think about that? Ha 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 ha. It gets these because it's not that clever, but it does sort of resolve that tension. Also, the audience is trying to be polite.
I myself, I stay up past 4 a.m. Yeah, There's no one to talk to then. I mean, you guys. Okay. You're with people. We'll talk later at 4 a.m.
Okay, so this woman, I'm trying to put out this logical statement of like, there's no one to talk to. And then the audience immediately refutes it with like, that's not true. That's a big thing in the air. I cannot continue at that moment. So I have to address her. I have to resolve that tension. And I have to do it in a way that doesn't invalidate her, but I can still defend my logical point. So she was with people, and I'm like, oh, hey, let's talk, but let's do it later. Let's just like sidebar this, was my tactic in that moment to try to be like, I gotta resolve this.
Yeah. There's no one to talk to then. I mean, you guys. Okay. You're with people. We'll talk later at 4 a.m. A lot of times.
Great. So I'm just trying to be like, okay, hey, I need to sidebar this literal someone being like, no, you're wrong. But then I can double down on my joke by saying we'll talk later at 4 a.m. So I can get back to the point I'm making. Honestly, pretty good move considering how I was not prepared for that. And that's sort of the things that the audience can throw at you. She didn't mean anything. She wasn't trying to be a heckler or she wasn't mean-spirited. She just felt differently. And that's why I recommend people do material about stuff that they feel strongly about that other people don't care about. Because if you pick something that someone has a very strong stance on, they might defend it in the middle of your stand-up set.
Sometimes it's just me alone with my thoughts. I'm like, oh, God. Do people like me? Oh, that's so fun.
Okay, so here, this is dangerous. This is very dangerous because he says, call them and try. Now, in this moment, that is where my stand-up is going. That is what the next jokes are. But he has sort of just killed my punchline, pre-punchline. So now I'm in a dangerous position. I can't continue. Otherwise, I'm going to be like, you can't text them and check. And it's going to be like, well, did William not just hear what that person just said? So in this moment, I need to make a strong move. I need to react to what he just said. I can't, it's loud enough that I can't just leave it in the air. I need to resolve that. And then somehow I have to continue my stand-up going through the point that he just ruined by calling out preemptively. So let's see how I deal with that.
Do people like me? Oh, so funnily enough, that's where my joke was going. Here, we're gonna lead into this. The joke goes, you can't text people at 4 a.m. I know, I've tried. Hey, give it up to the comedian tonight. Thank you. Do you want to do the rest of my set? I talk about how I'm impotent and I'm about to die. Okay.
Great. So I'm calling out exactly what happened about like, okay, he stole my material. I can't just do that material without calling out that fact. And I need to play with that new tension. Like, okay, well, if he's doing my material, that makes him a comedian. Okay, well, yeah, let's let you do the rest of my set. And then to sort of like try to shut him down in a nice way. I'm like, oh, then the rest of my set is about these things that someone would not want to talk about, being impotent. Do you want to continue? Sort of challenging him. So if he does, I can hopefully dissuade him from talking more while resolving that tension. So that's the meanest I get. It's not mean. It's still nice and playing with him, but I have to deal with that moment, and I have to kind of shut him down because he felt empowered enough to talk during my set, which I actually like. I got some free laughs because I could handle it, but I can't let him keep interrupting. I think he interrupts 2 more times. Not in a mean-spirited way, but it will disrupt your flow, and if you don't deal with it, you can be in a lot of hot water. So right now, I've done sort of 2 very good redirecting of the audience to get more laughs out of what could have been a set-ending moment.
So since that part of my set is killed, next jokes. I went dancing with friends. Do we like dancing? Yeah! My problem with dancing is like in a normal dance fight, this is the move that like 80% of, yeah! I like people, you can tell that they have dance skills, but it's the wrong type of dance skill. Like, shorty got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur, got the whole club looking at her. She hit the floor, shorty got low.
I messed up that last dance move. Should have called it out. My arms are supposed to be crossed over my legs. But it's harder to do while also doing the set. And you can't tell, but it's a teeny space. I'm like right up in people's face. So I was like, oh! And it threw me off.
That's me in the dance club. I am also a musical theater major, yeah.
So someone earlier had mentioned that like, oh, I'm a musical theater major. I'm going to do something gay on stage, which I don't like that joke, but the audience knew that. It's in their working memory. So I was like, okay, hey, I will play with it.
Yeah, gonna do gay things on the stage, yeah.
So I just want to make sure everyone knows that's not my material. That's a comedian before me that I am trying to poke fun at.
Like text, the man left, the texter left.
There's also someone in the back. I'm doing a lot of callbacks here, which is good about my style, but bad if you watch it after the fact online. There's someone in the back that one of the comedians was like, hey, does anyone sext? And someone was like, yeah, like I'm sexting right now. And that same comedian also talked about a sex toy that you stick inside you and you can like buzz it. Your partner can buzz it for you. So I'm about to play with that idea too.
Oh no! It's because the vibrator inside him went off. They needed to go do stuff.
So that's me just all playing with the audience's working memory. I'm just like, hey, I'm real. I heard what you heard. These were the sort of like some of the big things that you guys remember from the night. Hey, let's take William's stab at him. I did not choose this material. The other comedians did. But then I'm replaying with it.
So when I was last dancing with friends, a bunch of my friends were like really hot girls, believe it or not. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. They weren't dating me. They're just good friends of mine. And it's fun.
Right, once again, just it gets a little ha ha ha. Just because I'm actually reacting to them, actually letting their inputs affect my outputs. I'm just setting up the bit right now.
I'm hanging out like that because I gotta watch guys like shoot their shot. It's like, yeah, can I buy you a drink? Oh, okay, you've seen, you met this guy. It's Kobe. Yeah, Kobe. Yeah. Let's steal his moves.
So one of the comedians had made fun of the fact that like Kobe like hit on her or her friend, etc. And he's the host, so everyone knows him. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't pre-think this, but when it was happening, I was like, oh, this would be a perfect moment to call back Colby. And so I call back the host, or someone everyone knows. Another comedian had pointed out, had also hit on some of her friends. So it becomes a really good moment, just because the culmination of what was said, what the audience knows, and my material just happened to line up with it.
Yeah. Let's go this move. It's fun because I get to go you can buy me a drink. Yeah, get the fuck away. Sometimes they do if they're really desperate. And then sometimes people use me to get to my friends. This guy walks up to me, he's like, hey, I'm Daniel, I love your dancing. And it's I know what he's doing, right? We know what he's doing. I've done what he's doing. But
right? Sometimes I plant that more, it sounds like a joke, but because that seems like a confession to the audience, I've done what he's doing, the audience laughs at it because they either assume that I would or that other people would do that thing. So it seems like I'm being very vulnerable, and I got a laugh, even though I didn't push on it as hard as I usually do. If you watch me doing this joke on Laughter Party, I land it there a lot more solidly than I do here. And it gets a bigger laugh, but intrinsically by itself without much pushing, it got a laugh.
Yeah, he likes my dance. I'm yeah, here, meet my friends. You should fuck them. Yeah, you're fuck this guy. I'll buy you a drink. So people talked about their relationships. It's my turn. I recently went through a breakup. Oh yeah, love and trust. No. Yeah.
So that's me reacting to the audience, not liking the idea of breakups. So I'm just commenting on that only a few people reacted to this. So I'm reacting to the sort of group's assumed reaction to that idea.
I'm very excited. Do people like me? No. Yeah, one person. Thank you. I recently also had a one-night stand. Yeah, this crowd loves one-night stands more than relationships. So those couples want stuff. I like that. No,
Great, right? We just heard them not applause for breakups or the idea of relationships. I twisted it a little. Really, they didn't applaud for breakups. But we can skew the logic a little bit because I have the audience's report, and then they react really big to the idea of one-night stands. Just by pointing that out, just by stopping for a moment and acknowledging that I'm real, I'm talking to you, I see how you're reacting. It gets a laugh better than a joke talked at you here would have gotten. So it's very important that we keep that sort of dialogue feel with the audience. That's 100% why that laugh is there.
So we matched on a Bumble, and she messages me. Ooh, not that one. It's about feel these days. No. So she messages me, and she's like, hey, I live in London. I just got out of a 10-year marriage. I have 2 toddlers. I'm only in town for a night. Do you want to hook up and just have a night of fun before I leave? And I was like, oh gosh, yeah, of course. I know why. I chose her. She's amazing. But then my brain was why did she choose me? Here's the thing. She's bisexual, and this is New York. Look around the room right now. Look around the room. If you had to make out with someone, would it be me? Anyone? I literally see shaking heads right now. Okay?
Great. So I love this joke so much because it creates a real moment with the audience. It's interactive. It's saying, hey, you are involved in this moment. So the tension rises in them because they feel implicated. Something is expected of them. That is attention. So there's more for me to resolve and for it to feel visceral than for me to just talk at you and hope I can put logical ideas in your head that you can envision, and then those combat other logical ideas, and then the logical conclusion is logical comedy versus woo, no, you're okay, and the end's oh, okay, a more visceral feeling. That's what the more things like that you can do, the better your stand-up will feel, because it's not all frontal cortex expectation of the audience to turn words into pictures and then turn those pictures into ideas and then turn those ideas into overlapping ideas that then change the original idea. It gets exhausting.
So I asked her, I was okay, why me? Okay, and she goes, well, I really hate toxic masculinity. I'm really into the most feminine guys. I
can almost grow a beard.
Great, calling back my dance because it happened to fit, then saying something that the audience would probably feel is true, but then also speaks to the logical thing that we're playing with right now. Great. Oh man, who is this guy? He's so good.
This is true. No, it's fine. Jesus Christ, a beard. Jesus Christ did have a beard.
So the audience had been saying Jesus Christ a lot, weirdly, throughout the show, and then some other comedian did something where like half called it out. So like I thought I would play with it. Didn't land here, I think, because I'm trying to do like too much at once. But I like the instinct to like, okay, the beard thing and then the Jesus Christ thing. Let's connect them.
So we meet, and when.
But once again, it didn't land, and I because I'm not like, and you laugh here with those audible jokes, with those fast ones, I'm kind of downplay under my breath doing them. There's no real egg on my face. I can move on without a big tension of the audience being like, oh damn, that didn't work. So I haven't really contextualized why my sort of like blah 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 jokes off the cuff work really well, and I think that's what it is. It's because I usually try to throw in some like improv jokes under my breath so people that catch it like it, and if it works in a big way, then I explode into it, as you can see, and if it doesn't work, I can very easily shuffle it under the rug and continue. I like my style more now, having contextualized that.
When we met, she had just had a 5-course, all edible meal. She was relaxed. And I don't know if you can tell, I don't give off relaxing energy. Hi! We're gonna fuck!
Yeah, see, I went, yeah, but I was doing it sort of like a downplaying it because I was prepared to continue with my material. The audience picked it up, and then I jump on the wave. Watch. I didn't plan that, but I was just like, how can I yes-and this? What do I have at my disposal? Okay, here's something that can make it more visceral and visual. Let's go to it. Let's do it. And I noticed the audience reacted really big to that. So like, okay, how can I resolve this new tension that I put in the room with the mic stand, section?
I'm so sorry.
Right? I'm so sorry because I wanted to make sure that the audience knows I respect this thing that they're like, oh, he just violated the mic. So tension, and then I yes and my I'm sorry with a kiss. Okay, the audience is still liking it a lot, so I'm like, I need to keep playing with this idea. How can I keep hyping it? Once again, not the best move, an implied sexual thing that gets a little aggressive. But I knew for that crowd it would work because of the comedians that went before me. If I was doing my best and I had written that instead of improvised it, I don't like that last move so much. There are other ways I could have continued that tension, like oh, ready for round 2? Or like, oh, yeah, I know, I'm glad you came on with me and not Colby. Or like, do you want to see me dance? Almost anything I could have done right then, playing with that imaginary mic stand, probably would have worked.
So we go back to her place, and in between doing stuff, we talk about like how religion like messed her up as a child, religion messed me up as a child, religion messed Max up as a child.
He did a whole set about religion and his dad being a preacher and how that affected him. So very easy connecting material.
That's some effects. And in my mind, I'm like, William, we can make it work. Yeah, my brain's like, she lives in London. Like, I have a passport. She has twins. That's one each.
This is just good writing, about like objection, counter objection, very big, but then also very real feelings. So the audience is like, oh, he's confessing his feelings to us, and the things that I set up. I changed some of the specifics from the real life so that this quick run would work better.
Of course, the big hammer has to drop. My brain's like, she doesn't even like you that much. I'm like, oh, love hard enough for the both of us. Jesus again. Jesus all over the place. Jesus is everywhere. Here's the thing. She lives in London now, and the show that I do, Batsu, just opened a London location. So the question I pose to the audience.
I talked over that applause a little bit. I could have let that play out for like another second or two. I stifled the audience. So I'm guessing the next laugh won't be as big as it could have been because they just felt in like rejection mode.
Should I go?
once again, I'm just feeling them out. I'm just trying to fuel it. I was gonna be like, yeah, can I get a yeah? Can I get a no? Auctioneer, just anything to keep them making noise, to make them feel implicated in the bit, to make them feel like this is about them and not about me. I love this moment, and it's just a very simple question: should I go? And the audience weighs in. They have thoughts, and they want to be able to express those thoughts because it is a dialogue right now.
So this is being filmed.
It's like going to LA, bro.
And that's the dude that cut off my joke by saying basically the punchline earlier. He now feels emboldened to talk again. He's basically saying like, oh, hey, that's as close as LA, meaning London. But I didn't hear him. I just heard something LA, and I was like, I honestly did not hear what he said because I was doing something else. So
Same.
so I have to be like, so it takes me a second of like calculating, and then I can make a joke.
So this is being filmed.
It's like going to LA, bro.
Same distance. Back to the guy doing my set. Yeah, what's next? You wanna fuck this mic?
Yeah. So once again, because I planted that seed earlier about like, oh, that's the comedian, and I called out that moment, I already have a button to shut him down. Not that I want to shut him down maliciously, but I need to shut him down in a friendly way so he doesn't cause tensions where they're not supposed to be. So I still have control of the growing and popping of the balloon. So I gave myself the tools to create this moment. And look. If you're good at improv and you are used to it, any moment that the audience interrupts you is kind of an opportunity because, you are not going to seem like the a-hole. The audience knows that someone just interrupted your set. So as long as you put them down in a friendly way, you're resolving that tension and you can get free laughs. So I'm looking at this as an opportunity. Some comics will get mad. Some comics will try to continue their set. No. The set is about this now for this moment. I need to play and resolve with this. So watch what I do. I handle it very well because of the other thing. I've been doing this a second, but here.
It's like going to LA, bro.
Same distance. Back to the guy doing my set. Yeah, what's next? You wanna fuck this mic stand?
Right? That was the biggest moment. So like, hey, yeah, let's call it out. And let's implicate him in it since he is doing my stand-up. Right? Great connection tissue. And I give him like I'm trying to tell him like, oh, it's okay, it's fine. To resolve it in an amicable way, to de-escalate.
So here's the thing, this is being filmed tonight. Should I send this set to her?
Once again, audience, you see how loud they are? You see how loud they are when you implicate them and when you make them the star of the show? That honestly, this is as loud as the audience got all night on these two moments. This and when I asked them the other like yes or no. And it's because it's about them. And when you make them louder in those moments, they'll be louder in the other moments that aren't as much about them.
So when you see this, just know it's not my fault. And also, I love you. Cool. I had a whole lot more jokes. If you want to hear them, just ask this guy after the show. So that's been my time. I'm Give it up for Colby.
Great. Woo. Yeah. And I call back to it's a great way out about like, hey, turning that mistake moment where that guy interrupted me into a blessing. And I always tell my comics, if you watch any of these stand-up analyses, you'll see me telling like, your exit moment is so important. Make sure it's smooth like butter. But this mic stand, oh boy, I am not on home turf. Watch me struggle with this mic stand. I just, killed it. And I'm like, okay, let's go out with a bang. Oh, so confident. Ad-libbing things off of a moment that the crowd tried to F me, doing it really well, getting the best reaction of the night, and then...
After the show, that's been my time.
I'm trying to focus them, and then, oh, you know what? Honestly, not as bad as I remember. I'm still looking at them while I do it, even though I'm struggling. I'm calling out the host. I'm having this moment with the host. So that moment with the mic, that felt like an hour to me on stage. I was like, like if I had to feel how it felt to me, it was like, oh no, oh god, I didn't, what? I need to make a joke about it not going in right, when I'm doing the mic stand or something. That would have been fun. But once again, it shows you that when time slows down, I was about to, this is the first time I'm watching this, I thought it was going to be an absolute travesty. Not that bad. Not that bad. So, watching this back, I think this is a textbook example of you prepare a set for a show, but then the audience is going to throw you off. Have a plan and be prepared to immediately abandon it. That thing that could have killed my whole set of like the audience saying something that's basically my punchline, and if I had just continued, there would have been two tensions. There would have been the tension of like, oh, William's not really reacting to us, and did William not hear that thing that was like sort of already resolved his punchline and then he tried to make it funny again? Well, it's not funny because that guy just said it. Instead, I played with that man, resolved it, resolved the idea of it. I was honest with the audience that had just happened. That, let me be vulnerable for a second and say, things did not go as they planned, but I'm a real person in front of you, so please forgive me. You can? Oh, thank you. And luckily, I have the improv chops to make that a moment, expand that moment, tie off that moment, and then call back to that moment. So you might be asking, William, what if I'm not as good on my feet? The bare minimum is just resolve that tension. If you don't have the improv chops to turn it into a premise, play the premise and resolve it. Just be like, hey guys, I'm just gonna be honest with you. That was my punchline. That was my punchline. So I'm about to say it, and you guys can all feel how weird it feels with me, right? Okay, do the joke as planned. See, I told you, and now we've resolved that tension, and then we can continue, right? Ideally, you have the improv chops, but if you don't, at the very least, just don't try to shuffle that moment under the rug, because the audience will feel it and they'll see it. And if it happens again, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So, once again, play with the audience, do ample callbacks, be a real person in the room. Try to gain those honesty dollars as much as possible. When the audience wants to play, hey, explode it up as big as you can, and make sure you have some moments that feel visceral, that feel real in the room, that the audience feels like the star, and you can have some killer sets, like this one. So, if you are still watching right now, please give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot, and hit that noti bell. There will be more videos showing up right now. Feel free to watch one of those, and maybe more of me analyzing myself or me analyzing Colby on the set, which will also be up. So thank you so much for watching Stand Up Analysis.